Welcome back to East Texas Now Weekends. We are joined by the artist painting downtown at Tyler Square right now, Emily Gora. Emily, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited to be here. Very excited.
Now, I did already ask her that question, and we already have been talking for about 10 minutes at this point. So we're just going to continue the conversation. I hope you guys can keep up. But let's go ahead and get started. What are you working on specifically today?
Yeah, so there is a really cool section of downtown that maybe a lot of people don't know about. It's kind of right between the Bank of America ATM and then like Mucho Burrito. And there's a big stretch of walls that people are painting with all kinds of different murals. And so it's all, for the most part, local artists, and they are chosen and they get to just paint like I think my section's like 6 by 8, and you get to pick something cool that you want to paint and just kind of go for it. So I was really happy to be chosen for this opportunity. I've never really done anything at this scale, so I'm very thankful. A friend of mine who works for downtown encouraged me to kind of submit some stuff and see if I would get selected, and I'm very thankful that I did. So yeah.
And I can already see, I mean, I'll go ahead and pull up
yeah,
some of these.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with the sketches?
Yeah, so those right there are actually kind of what I started with. So my whole concept is that I live over in the Azalea District area, and I'm really connected with our neighbors through our dogs, which is kind of funny, but that is how we got to know each other. In the Azalea District, everybody's always walking their dogs. I mean, you can't turn the corner without seeing somebody with their dog. And so my kind of main, as an artist, I paint commissioned animals and stuff like that. So I wanted to do something that's reflective of me and kind of the things that I like to do, but also very reflective of our neighborhood and of Tyler. So I know a lot of people in the art alley are kind of doing works of their own art, but I really wanted to do something that people came and were like, oh, this is representative of Tyler and this is representative of this neighborhood. And I would love for my neighbors to be able to come and see it and stuff like that. So yeah, so these are all of our neighborhood dogs.
These are actual dogs that you are friends with.
Yes. Yeah,
so cool.
And 2 of them, the kind of red one and the yellow one, are actually my 2 dogs. And then all the rest of them are, our dogs on our street or right around the corner. So it'll be fun for people to kind of go and be like, oh my gosh, that's my dog. And kind of the point is that I would love for people to go and take a photo in front of it. So yeah, it's coming along really well, and I'm so excited about it. I've never done anything at this scale. So yeah, it's coming along really well.
And do your neighbors know that their dogs are about to be famous?
Yes. Yes, I did ask them all if they wanted their dogs to participate, and there was a resounding yes. So I'm really excited. I am in a group text with my neighbors, and I've been like sending them little updates like, all right, this is where I'm at, and this is kind of where I'm going. And then that picture is from this morning. And so that is, the top dog is my dog Mingus, and then the middle one is my other dog Tonto, and then the little black guy right there is Wesley, and he is my one of my best friend's dogs that lives right around the corner from us. So it's coming along. It's been a lot of fun, like I said.
And you said you wanted it to really kind of be about your neighborhood in the Azalea District. How long have you lived in the Azalea District?
So we've lived there, me and my fiance have lived there since 2021. So right after COVID, and kind of we had just renovated an old house of ours over by TJC, and we were, my fiance is from Tyler, I'm from Dallas, and we had really kind of decided that Tyler was where we wanted to be. And through a very lengthy process of trying to find a home, we landed in like the perfect spot, and like from day one, like it was just such a welcoming environment, and people are just so friendly, and I just was immediately like, okay, we chose right. So yes.
And now you said that your friend who works for the Art Alley Commission had to convince you kind of to apply. Can you walk me through that process? What were your holdbacks with applying?
Yeah, so I'm really kind of a lazy artist, if I'm being so honest. I have to have other people like encourage me or reach out to me and be like, hey, can I commission you for this? I really do not actively seek opportunities for myself. That is not a good thing as an artist. You should always be trying to promote yourself. So he reached out to me and was like, hey, we're about to start this next round of picking people for Art Alley. You should really apply. And I was like, yeah, like I will. And it just kept like the deadline kept getting closer and closer. And he would just be like, hey, so I haven't seen your submission come in yet. And I'm like, yeah, like I'll get to it. And then I was getting emails from a lady that was also organizing it. And he's like, hey, Amber reached out to you, like check it out. You know, the submission form's really simple. And finally one day I had a little bit of time and I was like, I'm just going to check this out. It was super simple. It was. And I filled out the Google Doc and like submitted some stuff. And I finally texted him and was like, okay, I did it. And it was like no reservation other than me just being so lazy and being like, oh man, I don't know what I would do. I don't know, like, you know, just silly drawbacks.
But I think one of the parts of being, we were talking about this earlier, I can't be an artist in any way, shape, or form because I'm so bing bong, the whole 9 yards. Like I have to be scheduled out. But one of the amazing parts about being an artist is the stereotype of being kind of free and kind of going with the flow and all of that. So it makes a lot of sense that it would take a little convincing.
100%. Yeah. I'm bad about like, if the opportunity is not right in front of me, like I'll kind of circumvent it any other way. So it really helped that, my friend, and it didn't help that I saw him and his wife like all the time. So anytime we'd like go to dinner or something, he'd be like, hey, just reminding you. And I'm like, oh, dang.
Still haven't seen that application.
Yeah, exactly. But then once I submitted it, and then I was like talking to my fiance and I was like, what if I did the dogs, and what if I did this? And then it like just snowballed from there, and I was like, wait, now I want to work on this like every second, and I want to get it done, and I want to just like work. So
now I have to get
then I got too excited about it, and then I was like, what if I don't get accepted, and I've got this idea and like all this stuff. Anyway, so once that kind of like match had been lit, I was just ready to go, and I was really excited about it, and that's where I am now. And like I was telling you earlier, like I was so excited to paint the other day. I didn't even realize that it was like the heat of the day, 2:00, and I got all my paints and I got out there and I was like, oh my gosh, I am sweating. I am falling apart. And so I only painted for like 45 minutes before I was like, I gotta go. I gotta head out. So I was way smarter today. I started at like 6:45. The sun was coming up. It was so quiet downtown. It was like, it was so perfect. So as excited as I am, learning that 2:00 in the afternoon is not the time to be in a concrete alley trying to paint. So
not in the middle of end of May.
Oh my gosh.
June.
Yeah.
I mean, the heat really is getting up there. We're getting close to 90 degrees. And you're gonna have to either do 6:45 a.m. or 9:00 at night.
Yeah. So I'm trying to, I have the day off tomorrow, and I'm like, okay, how early can I start that I can maximize the time I can work? So
you're gonna see Emily in Art Alley at 3 a.m. tomorrow.
Come check me out. I'll be out there with my flashlight. So
with giant spotlight.
Oh my gosh, honestly, when I get kind of that wild hair, I do kind of weird things like that sometimes. I'll be like, I can't sleep. Let me gather everything up. Let me go. So
see, when I can't sleep, I organize or I rearrange my apartment.
Okay.
I think last week I rearranged my entire kitchen. My bowls were in my cup spot. My cups were in my plates. My plates were in where my silverware normally is. It was See,
we're opposites. Exactly. I make a mess because I'm like, what can I get into? What can I work on? And then my poor fiance wakes up and he's like, what happened? Did the cats get into something? Like, No, it was me.
It was Emily.
I was just up at 4 a.m. trying to figure out what project I wanted to start.
I'm over here like this couch is 2 inches to the right. It needs to go left.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. You're like, I will not go back to sleep until everything is organized.
Absolutely not. Well, okay, so walk me through this process. You've gotten your idea, you've started to sketch it out, you started to fill in some of the pieces. What's the next step?
Yeah, so I'm really kind of, I did a bad job of giving a kind of a picture of the whole thing, but there are actually 10 dogs that will be on this whole portrait. And so really I'm just kind of starting from the left side and I'm just kind of working my way over. So really kind of like one dog at a time. And then what it says at the top is it says sitting pretty in Rose City. And so they will all be amongst the roses. So after I finish all the dogs, I'm going to just fill in the rest of the space with roses. And so, yeah, the thought is at the end, somebody could come sit in front of it and take a picture with all the dogs and stuff like that. So, yeah, it will just kind of be a slow process of working my way across and then, yeah, just filling it in with the kind of more free form of the roses. That'll go a little faster. But yeah, and then I think there was like, I'm again, bad at kind of compartmentalizing things. So I'm like, I think it's supposed to be done by sometime in June or July, but then they said something about September because there's going to be like an art downtown,
opening,
yes, like an art fair where they'll really actually unveil it. And they actually like create a book with everybody's mural in it, and they have your Instagram and stuff on there and your name, so people can find you if they're interested in commissioning work from you or just getting to know a little bit more about you. So I'm excited about that because I do, as not as my full-time job, I wish, but as my kind of side job, I do commission, like I said, pet portraits for people. So
which I love.
Yes. It's so fun, and I recently did one for some friends of mine. I think that's the other picture that I supplied you with. Let's see. And yes, that one right there.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, so this is Lucille. This is my friend Danny and Mel's dog. I just finished this for their 10th anniversary present. And so, yeah, these are kind of typically what I do. And as much as I would have loved to do a hyper-realistic picture of 10 dogs, I knew I was going to be out there way longer than I already am. So,
too hot for that.
Yeah, too hot for that. So I kind of
that.
scaled it back. But this is kind of my normal art, and this is what I was submitting when I was kind of going for the art alley position, and so yeah, I am hopeful that I can kind of spread some of my more of my art and work on more of these as well. So yeah.
So as someone, I have never really painted very much, clearly, but I've always wondered, it's a cement wall. Mm-hmm. It's pretty porous. It's definitely a rough surface.
Yes.
What kind of, I want the nitty gritty details. What kind of paint do you use? Do you have to paint it first to paint over it for the actual design? What is that process like? It sounds so mind-boggling.
Yeah,
to me.
so I'm also learning this because I am 100% like a paper or like a canvas kind of person. This is the first time
First mural?
First mural.
Okay.
And so I was learning along that as well. And I like watched so many YouTube videos. I like read articles about like, can I just put acrylic paint on the wall? Like, is this going to be okay? Yeah. And so everything I read said it was going to be fine. I mean, there's definitely like better options, I'm sure, like house paint and stuff like that. But yeah, it's taking me longer because of how porous it is. So I'm like, usually like on a canvas, I can like pull a straight line, no problem. And here I am like going like centimeter by centimeter, like trying to make sure it's straight. And I'm hitting all these bumps and these like little holes and stuff. So it's 100% a learning process. And I love that though, because then at the end I can really step back and it doesn't feel like, oh, I just did another painting. It's like, oh, I tried something totally new and I'm just very impressed with myself and how it turned out. Like already now I'm like trying to blend on an uneven surface is just like the most boggling thing. And I was telling my fiance, I was like, okay, I need to get this like special type of acrylic medium that it dries slower and like all this stuff. And I'm learning while I'm going as well. So it's nice because then I can kind of take some skills away from it as well. But it is it's definitely different than anything I've worked on, which I think is good because I'm not trying to do the details of like a very hyper-realistic portrait. I'm trying to just kind of paint more general shapes. So yeah.
And I mean, was that something you were nervous about going into this with, I've never done a mural before, I've
Yes.
never painted on this type of surface? Was that nerve-wracking a little bit?
Yeah, and the scale was really the most nerve-wracking thing. I paint like very small, like 8 by 10. I think like maybe the biggest I've done is like a 9 by 12 or something, you know,
Okay.
nothing at this scale. So I was really nervous that I was going to paint and draw with the smallness in mind, and then I was going to get to the end and like I'm going to have this big 6 by 8 space, but everything's
Takes
like
the
right here.
2 centimeters.
And I'm like, I was just afraid that like what I love about mural art is like the presence that it makes when you're kind of standing in front of it. So I was just afraid that like I was not going to be able to capture that. Like it was just going to look like I did a little canvas painting on a big like surface. So it was very intimidating. I really kind of before I even started painting, I had gone to that space quite a few times and just was like, oh my gosh. And
Oof.
yeah, and I you know, was trying to figure out how do I get this up here, and like I'm literally not used to drawing at this scale. So I drew them all small, which is why I did that. And then I actually, thankfully, my brother-in-law had a projector. So he was like, okay, if you can get it on the computer, I can bring you a projector and we can project it up there. So that helped immensely because then I could scale it like in real time.
And you can trace from
Yes.
the projection.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
really smart.
Yeah.
And that probably kind of, okay,
Oh my
so
gosh.
this isn't going to look like a little thing. This
Yes.
is a full mural right here.
Yeah, and I could like in real time like move them around on my computer. So then before I even put like brush to the wall, like I knew where everything kind of was going to be, which helped me immensely. And now I can kind of step back and see where it's going to go instead of kind of doing these little parts at a time and then being like, this does not look good. So anyways.
So how can people follow along on this journey with you?
Yeah, so you can probably find me out there most mornings. Or
6:45
yeah,
a.m.,
6:45
you'll find
a.m.
Emily.
I take coffee and, you know,
Take
any
coffee,
kind of,
Red Bull,
yes,
donuts,
anything, you know,
donations.
exactly. But yeah, so I have an Instagram that is just, my name, Emily, and then _ Leanne is my middle name. And I post a lot on there. But then I also have been putting all my stuff on TikTok. I'm a terrible TikToker, so like don't go on there with some like great expectation that like high quality production. It's just me, and then sometimes my sweet fiance is recording for me. But yeah, I post a lot on there. Just one, because I love to share what our downtown is doing. I've got a lot of comments on my TikToks of people who are like, your downtown is doing this? Like, how cool. Like, your downtown is commissioning you to do this. Like, I've been trying to do this in my own town, and I can't figure out who to get in contact. And I'm like, yeah, our town was reaching out to artists, you know. So that's been really cool, and I really love Tyler. I'm not from here. I say just moved here, but I've been here for a while, but I've really kind of gotten plugged in recently, and so we're very active downtown. We live very close. We, you know, frequent the restaurants and stuff down there. So just getting an opportunity to be a part of kind of what Tyler is growing into, that's why I love to share it, because I have a lot of friends from a lot of different places. So it's just cool to be like, well, look at the cool thing my town is doing. So, and I get to be a part of it. So I really do try to document that as best I can. But again, no high production. It is just me. And I prop my phone up on the trash can and I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm sure if anybody comes and sees me again at 6:45 in the morning, I'm half asleep. I've got paint all over me. My phone is propped up.
Just propped up, teetering on the edge of the trash.
Like, maybe it's going to go down, who knows, but but it's still fun. You can have a good laugh with me and really, like I said, just kind of follow along in all the fun stuff. So yeah.
I love it. And at the end, are you going to invite all the neighborhood dogs to take a
Yes,
picture in front of the mural?
Yeah, and so my idea is I'm going to give everybody the original that I painted, and then I'm going to take like a high quality image of if they want to come out in front of it or just of the mural, and just write a little thing like, thank you so much for participating and being a part of this. And then I really want to encourage people to, you know, I'd love to post on Facebook and stuff and be like, if you go, please tag me, or please, you know, send me your picture. Because like I said, I really made it as something I would love people to go to and interact with and be a part of, because that's really why I made it, is to showcase a big part of our little neighborhood and a big part of why I love living where I do. And the roses, obviously I love roses, so like had to incorporate those about Tyler. So I would love people to kind of be able to go to it and be like, this just is such a nice little snapshot of inside my brain. So,
and I love it because I was looking at some of the other muralists, and they're all absolutely amazing.
Oh my gosh,
but I
yes.
don't see a lot of people making them personalized to your version of Tyler. Everyone has a different version of Tyler, and it's not always the same one. And you're really just taking a little Azalea District neighborhood doggos and just throwing them up on the wall. I love it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and like you said, I mean, there are just the most phenomenal artists that are participating this year, and like it is just so fun to walk. And I've been talking to people as they've been out there, and it is just cool to see kind of what people were thinking when they were making their own mural. But yeah, I do think in that instance I do stand alone a little bit in I really wanted it to be Tyler centric, because like I just am so grateful for this opportunity that Tyler is giving me. So I'm like, why not showcase something you know, that is near and dear to my heart and a reason why I love living here. So.
And I think it's absolutely amazing. I think, speaking as a non-artist, great choice.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank
you. And I just thought it was so bright and it'd be so colorful. A lady that was doing the mural next to mine, she told me that some Caldwell kids had come through and they were so excited about the dogs. And at that point, I hadn't painted any. I had just drawn them, and I was like, oh, I hope they come back, because I hope they can see it.
The finished one.
Yes, exactly. So that just like lifted my spirits, and I was like, well, that's why I want to do it. Like, I really want people to feel that, like, oh my gosh, this is so cute, and oh my gosh, I love this when they walk by.
I think it's amazing, and now I actually have to go through and find a dog officially to adopt, so I can come sit pretty in front of the wall.
Yes, of course. And anybody, you know, dogs, cats, if you can convince your cat to come out there and take a picture, great. Parrots, you know, like anyone, just come on. But yeah, I'm really excited about it.
I am too. I think this is going to be great, and I think we're probably going to check in with you as it's closer to it being finished.
That sounds great.
Maybe we can do this actually in front of the wall, maybe.
Soun's wonderful. It can be at 6:45 in the
we'll
morning.
Figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Just
not at 2 in the afternoon. That's all I ask.
Absolutely. You will not catch me out there at 2 in the afternoon.
I won't be looking this nice and air conditioned at that time.
This is pristine in this climate. And only this
only
climate
in here. Only in here. I'm going to walk outside instantly and start sweating.
When I went to get her, I just peeked my head out the window and I was like, hurry, hurry, hurry. Don't let the air in.
Don't let the air out. Yes, exactly.
Like ninjas. All right. Well, one more time, where can people find you, just so everyone knows?
Yeah, mostly on my Instagram, like I said, and that's just Emily, my name, and then my middle name is Leanne, Leann. There's a third N on there because, you know, how Instagram is. There's another.
2 N's were taken.
Yeah, 2 N's were taken, so 3 N's. You can find everything on there, and then I repost my TikToks. So if you are interested in that mediocre quality, you can find those on there as well. So definitely follow along on that. I post lots of pictures. I post lots of other kind of commissions I'm working on and stuff like that as well. And also just pictures of my dog. So,
which I don't think anyone's going to complain about.
No, exactly. If you want dog content, come on.
That's what her TikTok is really for. It's
all
not
about
art. It's the dogs.
Just the dogs. Yes, 100%.
Alrighty, perfect. Well, one more time, Emily Gora. Make sure to follow her on Instagram, TikTok, Emily_Leann.
Leann.
There we go. All right, and with that, we will be right back.
Hey.